This is the Audacity Show. I am your host, Mia Dunlap. This show is bringing you stories from young people who are under 30 and living their lives with audacity. Welcome to the Audacity Show, where I am your host, Mia Dunlap. I am here with an incredible guest, Derrius Quarles. Derrius is an entrepreneur. He has a book called $1 Million Scholar and earned over $1 million in scholarships and started 3 businesses. I can't wait for you to hear more about who he is and what he's done. Catch this, he's been featured in Time Magazine, on a TED Talk, and by Black Enterprise. Let's hear more from him. Hello, Mr. Derrius Quarles.
Hello, Mia. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully.
Good
How are
to
you?
See you again. I'm doing wonderful. It's a wonderful day.
Yes.
I'm enjoying myself. Enjoying New York.
Yes.
Trying my best to make it through.
Well, I'm so glad to have you here on the show with us today. I know you just wrapped up your TED Talk.
Yeah, it was an amazing day.
Yeah.
Amazing experience.
Tell us about it.
I had the opportunity to talk about Bro Capital, which is the first fintech company for Black millennials. We combine a software platform with an online and offline community for Black millennials to build long-term wealth alongside their peers. We're the first in the game to be doing what we're doing, where we're really leveraging culture and community and then fusing that with technology. In terms of how that's creating value for the Bro Capital community, it's really giving us new avenues to build wealth within like our peer groups. Something that was very important to me as a Black male coming up in the game. And as an entrepreneur looking for capital. And I think that's a question that many entrepreneurs, particularly entrepreneurs of color, are attempting to answer today is how do I find funding? How do I get the capital that I need to execute on this amazing idea that I have? So we're facilitating that process, making it easier. And it's very much so a grand vision.
Yeah.
And so with the TED Talk, what I was able to really explicate is how the banks are taking advantage of Black people and have historically taken advantage of Black people, and why there needs to be new solutions to solve the financial issues that the Black community is experiencing and has experienced for really the past century. So
Wow. So bring me back to your journey. How did you even get to this point?
when I graduated out of Morehouse College in 2013, my first job out was entrepreneur, like business owner. That was great. Kind of sexy when you think about it in your head, not as sexy, when you're actually doing it, right? And a piece of that really was, look, we gotta eat, we gotta find a way to make money and like make this viable and sustainable for ourselves. How we went about doing that was we won a lot of business plan competitions. We applied for different business plan competitions across the country, flew from LA to Miami to New Orleans, and we pitched. And we were very successful in that process. But pitching in a business plan competition is like very different from raising money from investors. It's difficult for any Black person, I think, to go in a room full of white people who are more privileged economically and make your case for why they should give you money, and they agree with you at the end.
Right.
Because you can make the case and it's like, yeah, we heard what you said, but like, do we agree with it at the end of the day, and are we convinced? You can convince a few people, but then to make it unanimous, it generally has to be unanimous.
Yeah.
It's a situation where if 1 out of 8 doesn't feel some type of way, everybody's now not moved because that one person has like put a damper on everything.
Wow.
So those are the type of situations that we often found ourselves within. It wasn't like, oh, this happened once, we're discouraged. Our spirits are in any way like impacted negatively by it. It was the fact that we had done this over 30 times, 30 plus times in different environments. Small boardrooms, large boardrooms, private lunches, so on and so forth. And it's like, are we ever gonna be able to raise this capital that we need to execute on this amazing idea that's already impacting lives?
Sure.
If we can get the capital, it would only expand that impact and expand our ability to bring on talent, right? The human capital that we need to execute on this. Expand the platform and make it of a higher quality, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We were unsuccessful. And to me, it wasn't so much a failure on our part. We didn't come at it from like, man, what could we have done different? What could we have done better? It's what was missing in the environment that we were in that just wasn't there, that we needed, or that could have really pushed us over the edge. And what we found is this one thing, that we couldn't go to our own people for the amount of money that we needed to make this happen.
In all of this, Derrius, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, I mean, he's a powerhouse now, right? Like he has 3 businesses, he's written this book, he's been on TED Talk, he's been featured. This is not always who you were.
Right.
You've become this person.
Indeed.
So take me to what it was like for you as a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old child and that journey for you.
Very interesting. 5 years old, my father was shot and killed on the south side of Chicago when I was 4. At a very early age, violence had impacted my life. It had caused trauma, and I knew exactly what that looked like and what that meant. Even though I didn't fully understand it at 4 years old, what was going on, I definitely understood what it meant to wake up and my father not be there anymore. Long story short, he actually attempted to break up a fight. So in attempting to stop violence and a situation from escalating, he found himself in the middle of 2 people, and somebody pulled out a gun and killed him on sight. He was really a man of character. And in many ways, I'm attempting to emulate that. Somebody who died attempting to de-escalate and be a person who kept somebody else actually from maybe even experiencing that violence. That's the context. That's where it all starts. My father dying in that very traumatic way, like that was sort of the beginning of a lot of different things for me. That was the start of me transitioning into foster care, because my father was he wasn't the primary caretaker, but he was the primary provider economically. So that's the beginning of my journey, and some of the memories that I think I have that sort of take me back to that time, that teach me a lot about who I was, what I was thinking at that time. I really quickly understood that I wasn't in control of anything. No agency, basically, in the situation. That's how I would characterize most of my childhood. A situation where doing your best to just respond positively to things that are happening to you, and how to navigate that. And so the thing that I can distinctly remember that changed my life was that moment, that first moment where I felt I had agency. It's like, this is a moment where it's like, I have some control here, I have some say, and I'm not going to acquiesce that to anybody. I'm gonna use it.
What moment was that?
I was 14 years old, and I just got straight A's on a report card. And I was so proud. I was proud of myself at the end of the day. Brought these straight A's home, and the foster mother looked at me, she looked at the report card, and she looked at me, and she said, "You think you something? Boy, you ain't gonna be shit." And I was taken aback. Like, I was like 5 steps back. And I just looked at the woman, stared into her soul real quick, and I said, it doesn't matter what I'm gonna be. I know I'm not gonna be you when I grow up. And from that point forward, I think I caused a lot of problems with my resistance. Very resistant to a lot of things. But I think, and as I look back, in a very positive way, never resistant just to be resistant, but resistant for really my own wellness at the end of the day.
So you had trauma occur for you at the age of 4.
Right.
At the age of 4, your father was murdered. And now you're $1 million scholar, beyond $1 million scholar, and you have 3 companies. You had all A's at 14, which is unimaginable for somebody who's experienced so much trauma, right? Like having all A's and having the mindset to do so well is beyond extraordinary, right? What would you say are the key ingredients to beating the odds?
The ability to advocate for yourself and saying, this is what I want, and being very cognizant of the fact that everybody around you in your life is there should be there to support that, as opposed to, I know you said you wanted to be an entrepreneur, Derrius, but have you given thought to not being an entrepreneur? It's like, no, I haven't. This is what I want, and you would find a way to assist in that, even if you don't think that's necessarily the best decision, even if that's not how you would do it. It's still about you saying, okay, given the fact you want to be an entrepreneur and you said this is what you want, I found this book for you, found this resource for you, and I want to be of the best assistance that I can in helping facilitate that for you. No matter what it is I want for you, right? I understand that what's most important is what you want for yourself
Yeah.
and how I can just be an assistance of that.
Yeah, that's so powerful, being able to advocate for yourself and really saying, this is what I want. Take me to a moment that you really felt like somebody loved you.
Interesting. A moment where I felt like somebody really loved me. I think I was 17 years old. I built a relationship with a wonderful mentor by the name of Desmond Kemp on the south side of Chicago. There was this moment where we were talking as he was dropping me off, and he asked me, so what do you want for yourself in the next 5 years? And in the next 10 years as well, what do you want? And I had this vast list. Like, my list was, it was nice. Like, it was bullet pointed down. And I was just going through all these things at 17. And it's like, I see this for myself. I see myself going here, doing this, traveling here, getting this much money, having these things. And he said, so what are you doing today to make sure that you can do all of those things tomorrow? And I paused. And I'm like, well, I didn't really get that far. I haven't been giving any thought to that, actually. I just know what I want. I don't really know what I'm gonna be doing to make that happen. And him asking that question alone, I knew that there was love there. And I knew that it was deeper than maybe a lot of the things that I had given thought to up until that point. I really genuinely understood that he cared, because it was clear that he was challenging me. You know, it was clear that he was challenging me, and clear that he wasn't gonna be okay with me just being acceptable with where I was at that moment.
From there, you went to Morehouse, then you went to UPENN.
Indeed.
And you have 3 businesses. You have a book out, you're doing TED Talks, you're being featured all over the world. What does this all mean to you, Derrius?
It means a lot. It means a tremendous amount to me, because I know that everybody who's been a part of my journey up until this point isn't here anymore. And that means a lot. My grandmother isn't here with me anymore. And she shared so many things with me before she passed that I'm still living to this day. And the one thing that she gave me, I asked her, what do you want me to do with my life? She looked at me and she said, do good. And then she turned back to the TV and kept watching TV. And so for me, in a lot of different ways, I feel like I'm attempting to just live that element of what she meant. Because even though I know it was 2 words, I know you can write a thesis on what that means, what it means to do good in the world, to be good.
I'm gonna say a few statements, and in these statements, I want you to finish them with 1 sentence or less. I am here because
of others who've poured into my well.
What I wish for the world is
that everyone truly understands what it means to treat others the way you would treat yourself.
What's still broken in me is
What's still broken in me is the relationship that I have with a lot of my family members, and my desire to see them be better and do better for themselves.
What I needed most was
love as a young boy.
What's next for me is
global travel, global conversations, and global impact.
What I'm seeking in life is
peace, inner and outer.
I have the audacity to
tell any and everyone why I'm here and what I want from this life.
Derrius, it has been such a pleasure being with you today. I want you to tell the world where they can find you. I know they can find you all over, just typing your name.
Yes.
But tell
very
folks,
Googleable.
Yeah, tell folks where they can find you and where they can find your journey and find what you're up to.
www.derriusquarles.com. DerriusQuarles.com. From there, it'll take you to Instagram, it'll take you to Facebook, and all of the other different channels that you can find me.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
You are so amazing, and thank you so much for being here. That's Derrius Quarles. Look for him, find him, and learn so much about what he has to offer. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.